there's one thing we can take away from this Grand Prix weekend, it's that it being called a Spa Grand Prix is almost a perfect name. Because, let's face it, we spent quite a relaxing hour and 20 minutes waiting for the race to start, and then when it did, it was a snooze fest. Around lap 33, I nearly fell asleep because of how entertaining it was, so you can sleep in peace knowing it's named perfectly. And as far as spas go, 9 out of 10. Surviving this weekend was an experience because, given it was a sprint weekend, it was more of a marathon getting through the whole event. Alas, we did go racing at some point. So this is my Belgian Grand Prix race review. This is Formula Party. Please like, subscribe, and let's get into it. I'd like to start with a public service announcement. Those of you that watched my Belgian Grand Prix preview knew that this was coming, and I can only apologise from the bottom of my heart. To predict that Lewis Hamilton was going to take the checkered flag and even get a podium in the sprint, I can only apologise. I think it's the Ferrari delusion being at an all-time high. You know, with the upgrades, the new suspension, new floor, and everything seeming all hunky-dory, I think it just got to me. I can only endeavour to not be so silly again. Please forgive me. Anyway, one of the most enthralling battles of the weekend unfolded when the two Red Bull teams engaged in battle in a game of Connect 4. This was also subsequently abandoned when it seemed like the race was about to start and we finally got a start time. They never did finish the game, but let me know in the comments who you think will win when they do. Friday's sprint quali kicked off with Lewis Hamilton, Nico Hulkenberg, and Kimi Antonelli all being knocked out in SQ1. That's a shock for you there. Although we did also see an actual green tractor driving around on track at some point, so that might have been the work of Nico Hulkenberg. There's absolutely no prizes for guessing who occupied the first four slots on the grid come end of sprint quali. It was Piastri, Stappen, Norris, Leclerc. Serial offenders, and it's no surprise. The real shock came P5 to 8, or even stretching it to P10, because if anyone would have guessed this, I would have emptied out all the money in my bank account and given it to you. P5 was Ocon, then Sainz, Behrman, Gasly, Hajar, Bortoletto. And I'm not even going to shade Alpine this time, right now, because they did well, and Gasly always does in that car when it comes to qualifying. George Russell not making it to SQ3 was a surprise. Yuki Tsunoda wasn't. The Aston Martins were also a surprise. Come the end of the British Grand Prix weekend, they looked comfortably better than the rest, but in SQ, they were missing. It was a sprint Saturday that brought a very textbook P2 Verstappen move on lap 1, overtaking Piastri on lap 1 for P1, and it was them two that held position there to bring home the sprint win for Verstappen and bring Mekis his first win as Red Bull team principal. As beautiful as the track is, the rest of the sprint was uneventful. Ocon finished 5th, Sainz 6th, Behrman 7th, and Gasly. Oh wait, Gasly didn't finish in 8th. He DNF'd. That thing I said about not shading Alpine, I'm shading them. Alpine doing what Alpine do best. They finished DNF and 19th. Shame on them. So it was Hadjar who inherited the last points paying position. He's doing so great. Grand Prix qualifying brought even more surprises. And I'm not talking about Q1 resident Colapinto not making it out. I'm talking about Hamilton, Antonelli, who repeated their SQ1 form to do it again in Q1. But also Alonso and Stroll who failed to make it out. Hamilton did actually almost make it out, but his lap time was deleted in a big shock, and he was relegated to 16th. More misery for hashtag blessed and Team LH. My race preview had this lovely graphic and the pre-race prediction that it will be business as usual during qualifying, so I guess you could call it curse of the commentator, and I'd like to apologise to Lewis Hamilton. The only notable incident in Q2 was Yuki Tsunoda actually making it out. I don't know what Laurent Mekies has put in the water there, but it's working, and he's got the Midas touch as far as it goes. Seeing Bortoletto and the Racing Bulls in Q3 was amazing. They did well to maximise their cars and maximise their qualifying positions. Yuki Tsunoda wasn't as far off as he usually is from Max Verstappen, only 4 tenths this time. George Russell put in what I think is one of the strangest laps in F1 history. He put in a purple sector 1 and 3, personal best sector 2, and that resulted him in P6, 7 tenths off of pole. Alex Albon did amazing to put his Williams in P5. Max Verstappen P4, he didn't have any grip. Charles Leclerc P3, and it was Lando putting a stonking lap on his first run to take pole position. Piastri was less than a tenth off, but it was Norris on his first run that did the job, and he didn't need to follow up. Now, about Sunday. We waited and waited and waited. Nico Rosberg here waited so long that he experienced total head loss and started talking about the nights him and Lewis Hamilton spent in hotels as children, wrestling their nights away, making complete messes, and even ended up dropping this gem of a picture in the end. That's how long we waited. We knew it was going to rain, and that's where preparedness comes in. I don't know when F1 got so woke, but at 2 p.m. when the race was scheduled to start, they came out, did a formation lap, and Rui Marquez, the race director, decided, nah, this isn't good enough, it's not dry enough. And that prompts us to hold a moment of silence for our useless friend here, the wet tyre, never to be used, even in the rain, which it's been specifically designed for, may I add, but it's not safe. So the next time it rains and I have to drive into work, I'll be taking the day off, because my tyres will also not do the job. Anyway, a bit over an hour after the formation lap, we did get another message from race control to say only 15 more minutes till the race starts, but the first few laps are going to be under the safety car. And that's exactly what we got. The safety car did eventually give up on lap 4, went in, and that's when we had a race on our hands. It was Lando Norris on pole, and so Lando Norris leading the pack to get the race started from a rolling start. And no, don't worry, I know what you're thinking, but he didn't lose position on turn 1 this time. He waited till turn 5. Turn 5 came and Piastri was out ahead, and that's where he finished the race, in P1. Lando Norris, another bottle job on the first lap, but I guess you can't help it. And I hate to say it, but that was his race story. A series of mini bottle jobs, leading to one big bottle job, meaning he didn't get the win. But this time, he wasn't alone. It was also the McLaren pit crew who messed up for him. They couldn't get the front left on properly, and that caused him a bit of time. It was lap 26 which was notable, in Pouan corner, when Lando Norris was going through, carried too much speed, and nearly did a Pouan track, because he was about to go into the wall if he didn't bail out. However, it was Lewis Hamilton who was star of the show this weekend, and deservedly driver of the day. Once the race started, he was on a mission. He overtook and gained a few places before the conditions changed when he made the brave call to move onto the medium tyres first, and from then flew and continued flying. He peaked as high as P7, struggling behind a tough Alex Albon defending for his life. Lewis Hamilton gained 11 places and deservedly won driver of the day. Let me know down below whether you agree, and comment any highlights you think I may have missed. But between those Hamilton heroics, nauseousness of Norris, and F1 being woke in the rain, this has been my race review for the Belgian Grand Prix. Please like, subscribe, and comment. It helps me out more than you know. And I'll see you in Hungary.